Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, that Supreme Brahman is infinite, and this conditioned Brahman is infinite. The infinite conditioned Brahman proceeds from the infinite Supreme Brahman. When through knowledge, realizing the infinitude of the infinite conditioned Brahman, it remains as the infinite unconditioned Brahman alone. Om, peace, peace, peace. So, we are studying the Īśopaniṣad, and we are on the second mantra. The first mantra, this Upanishad, I think the climax is at the very beginning. The high point of the Upanishad is the first mantra, in fact, the first line of the first mantra, and the rest of it is expansion on that. The first mantra went this way: Om Ishavasyam idagam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagata tena tyaktena bhunjitha magridhakkasya swiddhanam. Om, all this, whatever is moving on this world, should be covered by the Lord. Protect yourself through that detachment. Do not covet anybody's wealth, or do not covet for whose is wealth. So, this first mantra, uh, it states the most profound of truths. I think the underlying, the inner code, the source code of Hinduism, not just Advaita Vedanta, not just Vedanta, the whole Indian way of life, of Indian culture, the innermost spiritual idea behind in India is this: Ishavasya idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. That the whole world is one divine reality. And spirituality means to recognize that and to live accordingly. Now, how do we recognize that? That can be done in different ways. One, we can imagine in a devotional way, Ishavasya idam sarvam, um, put God in everything. In the temple, certainly where we worship God, in the images in the temple, but also in all human beings, all living beings, in all non-living beings, in the elements, in the sky and the earth and the water, in space, in everything, and in our own bodies, in our own minds, our thoughts and ideas, everywhere we connected to God. And thereby you see God in everything. How do you do that? In a devotional way, of course, it will be done on the basis of faith, of belief. You can do it and it will work. So the devotional approaches to God, the bhakti schools of Vedanta, for example, will do it on the basis of faith, on belief. And God, in good time, will reveal it as a reality. It's not just it always remains as a kind of a belief. It becomes a reality. One begins to see that it is the reality. That's one way of doing it, through faith and devotion. Another way of Ishavasyamidam Sarvam, covering everything with God, is to discover the Lord within ourselves, in ourselves, through meditation. The yogi can do it through meditative practice by controlling the mind, by calming the mind, and beyond the mind, one sees that divine reality. One can do it. Through meditation, one can discover God in every experience. Or one can do it in the way which we are doing practically right now in this in Vedanta, in Advaita Vedanta, when we are studying the Ishavasya Upanishad. How do we do it? Through self-inquiry. We start with inquiry into ourselves. Who am I? And discover the inner reality in ourselves and find that this is the inner reality of everything. In fact, everything is that one reality. So this is how we find Ishavasyam idam sarvam. In fact, Aurobindo translates it as clothe the world in God, or clothe it, cover it with God, like you put a piece of cloth over everything. Similarly, the world is clothed in God. You can do it by devotion. You can do it by meditation. You can do it by inquiry, like in Advaita Vedanta. or by all of these paths, as Vivekananda says, any one of them, more than one, or a combination of all, and realize the one divinity here. That's the message. I was just thinking, if you look back at the peace chant, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Very profound, beautiful. What does it mean? That ultimate reality, Brahman, is Purnam, infinite. And this one, this Jiva, I, the Jiva, and this world which we are experiencing, this is also infinite. Purnamadaha, Purnam idam. Other means that. Idam means this. What's the relationship between the two? Purnat Purnamudachyate. So from that infinite, this infinite has arisen. This is the basic idea in all theistic religions, that God is the creator. There is God who creates this universe. That's what you find in Christianity, Islam, Judaism, in Hinduism, in Vedanta itself. How do we define Brahman? Saguna Brahman, God with the Brahman with attributes. Janmadhyasya yataha, that from which this universe has been born, in which this universe exists, into which this universe will ultimately be dissolved. The creator, preserver, destroyer of this universe is that Brahman. So that's what it means. From Brahman, it has arisen. But notice there is something interesting that this mantra does, Purnamada Purnamidam, something interesting. It says the cause, God, is Purnam, infinite. The effect, the universe, is Purnam, infinite. It uses the same word, Purnam, for cause and effect. Usually you use two words. When something is a cause and something is an effect. The seed is the cause and the tree is the effect. From the seed, the tree has come. We say clay and pot. Clay is the cause and pot is the effect. So we use two words. So to show that one is the cause and one is the effect. By cause, I mean the material cause. So clay is the cause and the pot is the effect. Or gold is the cause and golden ornament is the effect. So cause and effect, we say, are different. But here, the mantra, have you noticed something interesting? It uses the same word for cause and effect, Purnam. Cause is called Purnam, effect is called Purnam. From that Purnam, this Purnam has come. And the Purnam, what has come from that? That one Purnam alone. Implying thereby that nothing has really happened. That which was Purnam and infinite is this one, though it does not seem to be so. This is the teaching of that mantra, Purnamada Purnamada. It is telling us that perfect existence, consciousness, bliss, Satchidananda, that infinite Nirguna Brahman is this one which you are seeing here. Therefore only, by investigating this, Purnasya Purnamadaya, by finding the Purnam in this Purnam, Purnam eva avashishyate, only Purnam remains, only infinity remains. You realize I am that infinite. And that's possible. How will you find that infinite here? That is the next, the Upanishad starts with that. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. This world, which is actually Purnam, does not seem to be so at all. After all, what does this world seem like? Not at all Purnam, not at all infinite. It seems very fractured. It seems not one entity, but billions of divided entities. Seems to be a world of continuous change, ups and downs, and pervaded by struggle and suffering and misery, life and death, pleasure and pain. But the teaching of the Upanishad is, teaching of the mantra first, is that this is Purnam. And you have to know that this is Purnam. And the Upanishad tells us, how will you know that this is Purnam? This life of ours is perfectly Brahman. But how will you know that? Upanishad tells us, Ishavasyam idam sarvam. You have to clothe this in God. You have to, as Shankaracharya shows us, you have to cover this in God means you have to uncover. Brahman exists here. Uncover means, as I said, discover. And discover is the process of inquiry. But what I was just saying is, because we are doing it in Advaita Vedanta, I'm saying inquiry, vichara, inquiry. But this Upanishad is at the ground of all Hindu traditions. So bhakti also will do that. To see God in everything, by faith, by devotion. My Krishna is in everything. When those who are devoted to Rama, how do they understand Rama? Ek Ram Dasharat ka beta. दूजा राम घट घट में लेटा. Um, uh, then he says, the तीसरा राम जगत पसेरा. Or the last one, he says, चौथा, the fourth one, सबसे न्यारा. So Rama, who is Rama? Is that person who is the son of the king Dasharatha. Is a person. As the avatar, has come as avatar, incarnation of God, as that person. Fine, that's one. Number two is Rama, who is everywhere in this universe. Ghat ghat mein leta. In everything in this universe, you can find Rama. Then, third, Ram Jagat Pasera. In fact, you should reverse it. That the first one, the second one will be Rama, who is the creator of the universe. And third one is that Ghat Ghat Mein Leta. In this universe also, in every bit of this universe, in every entity in this universe, Rama is present. And the last one, Sabse Nyara, transcending everything, Nirguna Brahman, without name and form. You need not even you're just calling it Rama, but it is pure being, pure consciousness, pure bliss. Now notice, this is the conception of Rama. It's same as Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. The same as Ishavasyamidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. Now you see how these ideas, going back to the Isha Upanishad, they have pervaded whole of Hinduism. Even our devotional practices, bhakti of Rama, bhakti of Krishna, bhakti to God in any form, inner idea is this Upanishadic idea. So I hope you see this grand, this profound inner depth to these matters. It's not only just one text which is very deep, but it pervades all of Hindu thinking and practice. Now the first mantra said, Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha. Protect this knowledge by renunciation. And here Shankaracharya is very clear that you have to renounce worldliness, worldly pursuits, worldly possessions, worldly activities. You can even become, what he meant was that you become a monk formally, or at least internally. You give up those pursuits. And now, then we come to the next mantra, which we have started. The next mantra is कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेत् शतग्गं समाः एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतो अस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे. By doing karma indeed should one wish to live here for 100 years. For a man such as you who wants to live thus, there is no other way than this, whereby karma may not cling to you. So the next mantra, number 2, it says, in this way, seek to live 100 years. Perform karma, action in this world. And living in this way, there is no other way other than this by which you will escape from the bondage of karma. Otherwise, karma will cling to you. Now, what does this mean? Here, Shankaracharya says, this Upanishad actually has 2 parts. The first mantra has given you the first part, which is Vedanta, knowledge, which will lead to freedom, enlightenment and freedom. You realize that you are Brahman, everything is that one Brahman, and we go into this oneness. Live like that through renunciation. This is part 1. Part 2 is being introduced by this mantra, number 2, which is saying, those, according to Shankaracharya, those who are not capable of this, those who do not want liberation, they are unable to realize for whatever reason. Actually, he'll tell us the reason. They're unable to realize that they are the self, they are Brahman, because they're very much attached to name and form, very much attached to body, to this world. They want this existence, only better grade of this existence. They want to be here in this world and be happy. After death, they again want to retain their individuality, go to some heaven and have a wonderful life there, and then again come back to a wonderful life here. They want to perpetuate this existence because of their attachment to this. And they are, so the vision of the first mantra, vision of Vedanta, the Aham Brahmasmi, does not motivate them. It does not inspire them. It does not pull them. I was seeing a Buddhist teacher saying that Somebody asked him, so Buddhist view of life is very grim, that it is all suffering. Means he compared it to a drunkard. A drunkard is very attached to drinking and thinks that's a wonderful thing. And if you try to take away the drinking from him, the alcoholic will find it most grim, most full of suffering. Similarly, most of us in the world, we are drunk on samsara. Although it is giving us suffering, we don't know anything else and we don't want to get out of it. So for those people, those who, whether they say it or not, they want to remain in samsara and continue like this. For them, the second mantra comes and says, please live a moral, religious, devout life, live an ethical life and perform these Vedic rituals. He will talk about it, karma, Vedic rituals, by which you will get good karma. As a result of that, this life will be pleasant, next life will be pleasant, and between life and death, after death, you will go to heaven, which will be very pleasant. Otherwise, there is no other way of escaping, Shankaracharya will say, effects of bad karma, of sin. If I want to remain in this world, and if I remain in this world, there are only two options. Either I will fall into an instinctive, animalistic lifestyle, seeking pleasure and power and, just artha and kama, pleasure and accumulation, sensual desire and accumulation. Or I will pursue that, but moderate it, control it within the limits of dharma. I will be ethical in this life and also be religious or devout. That second one is what is being recommended by the Upanishad. And Shankaracharya will say the whole Upanishad can be divided into two. For those who want enlightenment and freedom, moksha, that is one. Mantra number one is for you, for us, because we want that. We are here for that. And then he said that the mantra number one will be explained further in mantra number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And from 9 onwards, till the last 18th mantra, mantra number 2 will be explained and expounded, and expanded. The ideas there will be expanded. So one is for the mumukshu, the one seeking liberation, mantra number 1, and first part of the Upanishad. And the second one, mantra number 2, and second part of the Upanishad is for the dharmika, vishayi, the one who is worldly, but also religious and pious. What is the advice? All right. Now I will go into Shankaracharya's commentary, where he does this. It's an interesting thing that he has done. Very sharply divide the Upanishad into two parts. And he'll be challenged, as you will see. Why do you say so? I'm reading from Shankaracharya's commentary, where he introduces the second mantra. Shankaracharya says, Evam atmavidah putradi sanyasena atmajnana nishthataya atma rakshitabhya ityesha vedarthaha. In this way, in the first mantra, it has been said for the person who has got self-knowledge, who is enlightened, or who wants enlightenment. What should they do? Putradi eshanatraya sanyasena, should give up the three primal desires, putreshana, vitteshana, lokeshana, which I have mentioned earlier in the last class. The fundamental desires which are given up when you become a monk. The desire for progeny, for marriage and children, family, the desire for wealth and prosperity, and the desire for heaven afterwards, this world and the next world. These are all worldly or otherworldly desires. To continue existence as an individual like this. Give up those. Then what is your purpose? Your purpose is to attain liberation, to realize who am I, and thereby be freed from this limited existence. Get moksha, freed from the cycle of birth and death. The worldly person, atheistic, who has no interest in religion, only pursues worldly goal of pleasure and power and gain, and thereby leads a sinful life, because it does not believe in papa punya, merit and sin. So it leads a sinful life, and therefore as a result has bad karma and falls into a hellish existence after death, and then is reborn in lower and lower births. Whereas the Upanishad says, don't do that. If you want to live in this world in this way, then lead a dharmika life, a pious life, ethical life. Generate good karma by doing all these ritualistic actions and ethical actions. And thereby you will get higher births. You will continue, still ignorant, still within samsara, but it's a higher grade of samsara, a refined samsara, better samsara, less painful. Vivekananda said, golden chain, iron chain. The iron chain and golden chain both will bind you, but golden chain may be a little more preferable than the iron chain. So he says, Atma rakshitavya. Shankaracharya says, protect this knowledge. Realize that I am Brahman, Ishavasya Idam Sarvam, give up worldly pursuits and desires. And so basically leading the life of a monk, an ideal life, ideal life of a monk. Protect this knowledge. So don't indulge in pursuing sense pleasures and wealth and power in this world again. Those have to be given up. This is the meaning of the first mantra. Then he says, Atha, now, itarasya anatmagyataya atma grahanaya ashaktasya idam upadishati mantraha. For the rest who are ignorant, that who do not know their own real nature. So they may be ignorant, but why don't they get knowledge? Then they'll be enlightened. He says, no, anatmagyataya, because their attention, their knowledge, their desires are all focused on the body-mind identity, on the non-self, basically. The non-self means, I am this body, I am this person, here is this world. It's all Brahman. No, no, it's not all Brahman. Here are desirable things, pleasurable things, things which are nice to do and get and enjoy. There are some terrible things like sickness and failure and humiliation. Those are to be avoided. And this is how I will lead my life. So this is called, so what happens because of this? Atma grahanaya ashaktasya. They are incapable of realizing the Atman. So can the Upanishad not help them at all? Yes, it can. For them, this one is prescribed. What is prescribed? All right, do what you want to do, live in this world, perform Vedic ritualistic action, lead a moral life, and only in this way you will escape from the effect of sin. Otherwise, automatically, by default, we will fall into sin, into bad karma. That's our instinct. And there he defines what is meant by karma here. Very clearly, Shankaracharya, by here specifically, technically by karma, he means Vedic rituals. He says here in commentary, karmani agnihotra. Agnihotra, this is one kind of fire ritual which was regularly performed by the Vedic Brahmin and others, karmas. Why would you do that? Tavadhi purushasya paramayur nirupitam. 100 years, seek to live 100 years. Why 100 years? He says this is thousands of years ago. Shankaracharya is writing more than 1,000 years ago. He says that is the standard lifespan determined for a human being. तथा च प्राप्तानुवादेन यत् जिजीविषेत् शतं वर्षाणि तत् कुर्वन्नेव कर्माणि इत्येतद् विधीयते. He says praptanuvada. What is observed? It is a fact. The Upanishad is just repeating a fact. When it says seek to live 1,000 years, is the Upanishad telling 100 years? Sorry, 1,000 years not yet possible, but 100 years. Seek to live 100 years. Is the Upanishad instructing us? Here's the issue. Is the Upanishad telling us you should seek to live 100 years? He says, no, no, no. The Upanishad is just repeating a fact which is already observed in the world. People seek to live. People want to live long. People want to live happy lives in this way, the way they are now. I am this guy and I want to live as long as possible. I want to live a healthy, happy, productive, fulfilling life. This, the Upanishad says, this is a fact already established in the world. Upanishad is not recommending that. It says, all right, if you want that, then how should you live? You should live by performing, by leading a dharmic life. Live life. If you want, live 100 years, a happy life, by performing these Vedic rituals. Then Shankaracharya says, Tvai jijivishati nare naramatra abhimanini ata etasma. Okay. Why do people want to live like this? We never question it. Shankaracharya says, Naramatra abhimanini. Here is the whole thing. We are completely identified with um, our this human body mind complex. We think we are this, that's it. And if we are this human being, that's it, nothing more than this, then what is open to us? We will live as long as this body lives. And in this society, we will try to do the best we can, get the best possible life for ourselves. So this is why people want to live like this. And whereas, notice why he's saying this is, in the first mantra, very different way of life, very different idea of life and existence was given to us. That you are not this body and mind. You are one limitless existence consciousness place. And that limitless existence consciousness place is indeed appearing as everything in this universe. Non-duality was put forward. You are the non-dual self. You are not a body mind. But since people are intensely attached to their body mind identity, since people are intensely attached to their, he says, Naramatra, only this human identity. Therefore, then what can be done? Ata etasmad agnihotrādīni karmāni kurvato vartamanāt prakārāt anyatha prakarantaram nasti. Other than living in this dharmika way, performing Vedic rituals. Today you will substitute for Vedic rituals. You may not perform Vedic rituals, but whatever you consider to be, um, dharma, religion, devout, pious lifestyle. Other than this, nasti yena prakarena ashubham karma na lipyate. There is no other way you can be saved from ashubham karma, impure action. Notice, the Upanishad says there is no other way from which you can escape the bondage of karma. Shankaracharya there says what he means, what the Upanishad means here is impure action, sinful action. You're still trapped within action. You have replaced the iron chain with a golden chain. You have replaced sinful karma, bad karma, papa karma with punya karma. Do continuously, the wise person will continuously do punya, meritorious action. That's how the life will become better. This is the track 2, second part of the Upanishad, which will come later. Now, question, challenge. Just a minute, Mr. Vedantin. What gives you the right to split the Upanishad into 2 like this? Why not say that become enlightened and then live 100 years doing all sorts of actions? Why not? Why are you saying this is for those who cannot become enlightened or don't want to become enlightened? And the first one is for those who can become or have become enlightened or they want to become enlightened. Why? Why are you splitting it? Question. Katham punaridam avagamyate purvena sannyasino jnananishthokta dvitiyena tadashaktasya karmanishthā iti. How did you know? How did you know, O Shankaracharya, that the first mantra refers to those who are dedicated to knowledge, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, who want to study the Vedanta, those who want to think about it and then meditate upon it and realize that we are Brahman, those who are leading the lives of Jnananishta sannyasi. Sannyasi means who has withdrawn from all worldly engagements and is centered in the pursuit of knowledge, of self-knowledge, of realization. Basically spends his time dedicated to Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana of Vedanta, hearing, the contemplation and meditation on Vedantic truths. That's number 1, verse number 1. And Dvitiyena tadashaktasya karmanishta. And by the second mantra, you are saying those who are incapable of that kind of life or incapable of that kind of aspiration, they should live a life of pious action, devout action. Literally, it means Vedic action. How did you know? Answer. Shankaracharya says, Uchyate. Listen, I'll tell you. Jnana karmano avirodham parvatavadakampiam yathoktam nasmarasi kim. He is cheeky here. He says, The contradiction between knowledge and action is unshakable like a mountain. Have you not understood this yet? I have already explained it. In the introduction, he has mentioned it. So what has he said? What is he saying here? This is a red flag with Shankaracharya. Throughout the Upanishads and the Gita and the Brahma Sutras, wherever there is any possibility of combining knowledge and action, he'll immediately come down and smash it to bits. He said that the contradiction between knowledge and action is unshakable like a mountain. The two cannot be combined. What does he mean by this? Who seeks knowledge and who seeks action? People who seek knowledge, they want realization. Those who want realization, those who want freedom from samsara, and they're willing to give up worldly pursuits. Basically, monastic or this attitude of a renunciant. They want to renounce the worldly pursuits and become enlightened and realize that they are Brahman. Such persons are qualified for jnana, for knowledge. Whereas notice, who is qualified for action? Those who want results in this world, those who want to live a good life in this world as this individual, not freedom from the cycle of birth and death. They want to perpetuate this cycle of birth and death. And they want to go to heaven after this. And after that also, if possible, a nice life. So they are the ones who seek. They say that I am a man, I am a Brahmin, I am qualified to perform Vedic rituals, and I will perform such and such rituals and get such and such results. So that is the person who is qualified. The devout householder who wants worldly results. And here is the monk who wants freedom. So they're two different. The two branches of the Vedas are meant for two different adhikaris. Now you might argue that does one have to be formally a monk? Shankaracharya certainly seems to think so, but I'm sure he would settle for informally, internally also. If one gives up those pursuits and only wants God realization, then also it's possible. But one can't have both. I want freedom from cycle of birth and death, and I want to go to heaven and I want to be reborn again. Both can't be there together. So they're contradictory. The goal of karma and the goal of knowledge are contradictory. The person qualified for knowledge, the person qualified for karma are different. They can't be the same person. Metaphysically also, karma is based on duality. I want some result. For that, I do some action. It's all duality. Whereas jnana leads to non-duality, that it is one Ishavasya Sarvam, one Brahman, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, and so on. So the contradiction between these two is unshakable. And therefore, Shankaracharya says, with many quotations, I will not read them. Therefore, he says, in the Upanishads and in the other scriptures, it has been clearly stated that from ancient times, these two divisions are there. He says, I am not inventing it. You ask me, why are you dividing the Upanishad into two paths? Well, there are these two paths from ancient times, and he gives quotations. So, for example, he says, Imo dvaveva panthano, where it is got it from, it's not clear, but the basic idea is there. Imo dvaveva panthano, these are the two paths. Anu nishkrantataro, from the very beginning of creation. Bhavata kriyapathashchaiva puras tat sannyasa chauttarena, purastat tat sannyasa chauttarena. First, the path of action has been set forth, and later the path of renunciation of action. These are two paths. Nivritti margena eshanatrayasya tyagaha. So there are two paths. One is called pravritti marga, the way of engagement and action in this world, leading from lifetime to lifetime, a better, good life. Nivritti marga, renunciation, the path of going back to the source of the original, and going back to Brahman, our real nature. So the Nivritti Marga, the path of renunciation, is the renunciation of the threefold desires. Eshanatraya Tyaga, renunciation of the desire for progeny, for family, sexuality, children, the desire for wealth and accumulation, the desire for attaining worlds, higher worlds. Tayoho sannyasapatha eva atirechayati. Among these two, the path of renunciation excels. It's a better path, or more excellent path. Why? And he quotes from the Taittiriya Śruti. Nyasa eva tyarechayat. renunciation excels. It's through renunciation alone spirituality is attained. He quotes again from Mahabharata, Shanti Parva. Dvavimau athapanthano yatra veda pratisthita. The Vedic religion is established in two paths. Or in the Vedic religion, you have two paths which are established. What are the two paths? Pravritti lakshano dharma nivrittischa vibhavita. They've been carefully divided into two paths, the pravritti and the nivritti. Pravritti is leading a ethical life in this world, a good life, devout, ethical, Vedic life in this world, pravritti lakshana dharma, and attaining to excellence in this life and going to higher heavens after death. Nivritti marga, that which will starts with renunciation of worldliness and leads to freedom, moksha. So, dharmartha kama, pursuit of pleasure and prosperity in this world on the basis of dharma. This is called pravritti marga. Moksha, this is called nivritti marga. The goal of nivritti marga, the path of nivritti marga, the nivritti path of renunciation leads to moksha. The path of engagement with the world, pravritti marga, path of action, so to say, leads to dharmartha kama. It leads to pursuit of worldly pleasure and success on the basis of morality. So, here Shankaracharya's argument is, I am not saying anything new. It's pretty obvious. This is what is religion. Look at our Vedic religion. There are these two. If you want moksha, here is the first mantra for you. If you want dharmartha kama, pleasure, success, and a good dharmic life, then here is the second mantra for you. And the Upanishad is divided in these two parts. So, this is it. And one must say Shankaracharya is on pretty solid ground here, though it seems very abrupt. Now, for us, then the problem is that we are the seekers of enlightenment. We are here to attend a Vedanta class and we want moksha. So, we have to pursue what is taught to us in the first mantra and in the mantras from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is that. Now, there are a lot of subtleties here. Is Shankaracharya against action? After all, in the Gita, Krishna enjoys action. Krishna tells Arjuna to act as a path to spirituality. If you want to be spiritual, if you want to be Vedantic, you have to act. You have to engage, not withdraw. Arjuna wanted to withdraw, but Krishna said, no, you have to fight the fight. Vivekananda was a prophet of action. Shankaracharya himself, look at his own life, 32 years, full of action. What not he did. Basically revolutionized Hinduism, and what we call modern Hinduism is basically his creation from that time, reorganization of the whole of Hinduism, philosophical and practical also. Our very order of monastics and all, it all traces back to Shankaracharya. So tremendous action. So what does he mean? There is a contradiction between knowledge and action. One must understand, externally there is no contradiction. A person may be Jivan Mukta and engage in lot of action. In fact, many of the Jivan Muktas, fully enlightened non-dualists, they are very active. And in the world, you cannot, only a dead person may be inactive, but if you're alive, action is going on. Even a monk who is the Shankaracharya's renunciant, who has renounced everything, will still go out for his daily round of begging for food, or will still go and attend classes and study and meditate and do mental inquiry, and all of these are actions after all. These are also kinds of actions. So action cannot stop externally. What Shankaracharya means is that psychologically the two are not compatible. Inwardly, I am Brahman and I am the doer of actions. They do not go together. I am Brahman and I am body-mind. The two cannot go together. I am Brahman acting through this body-mind, which is also Brahman, appearing in Brahman. That's fine. So the word I, what does it mean? If I'm completely convinced I am only this body-mind, then the path of action is for me. Or if I'm willing to renounce and try to become enlightened, like which we are trying to do, whether externally renouncing or internally, mentally renouncing and trying to attain enlightenment, then it is possible that the first mantra and Vedanta is for us. But those who are not into this path at all, those who want a good life here, then for them, the second mantra, a dharmika life, is recommended. There is a contradiction between the two. The two cannot go together. It's like saying, I want multiple lifetimes and births, and I don't want multiple lifetimes and births, I want moksha. How can the two go together? What is compatible is non-action, non-dual Brahman in reality, and an appearance of action in the world of appearance or Maya. The two are compatible. Appearance and reality are compatible. What do I mean by that? The desert, which has no water, is fully compatible with the mirage, which is full of water. Because dry desert and the wet mirage, they can go together because the mirage is an appearance. It's not real. The desert is the reality. But rope and snake, they can go together because same thing cannot be a rope and a snake at the same time. But it can really be a rope and appear to be a snake. That can go together. Similarly, the reality of non-duality and the appearance of duality can go together. The reality of non-active or non-action in Brahman, Naishkarmya, which is called, that can go very well with tremendous action in this world. Because this world is an appearance. At that level, there is no contradiction of action and non-action. But if both are true, then only one you have to say only one of them is acceptable at one point. I hope I'm making this clear. So how, by Shankaracharya, the same Shankaracharya who says there is a tremendous contradiction, mountain-like contradiction between action and knowledge, how he can engage in intense action. So only in that sense, in the metaphysical sense, in the ontological sense. Ultimately, it is existence consciousness bliss here. And in that existence consciousness bliss, you can engage in action at the level of body-mind. But the level of reality, it is Brahman, non-dual. At the level of appearance, duality and the samsara and the world. At the level of reality, it is a screen. At the level of the movie, tremendous action is taking place. In the movie, tremendous action can take place. In the screen, nothing has happened. In your dream, tremendous action can take place, but the body is just sleeping on the bed. Those are compatible. But you can't be sleeping and actually in the waking state running around also, unless you're sleepwalking. Of course, that's different. All right. Now, we are going to start the Vedantic portion, the knowledge portion of it. Another thing, action is also recommended for those who are seeking this knowledge. Shankaracharya agrees with that. That's the whole teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. If you want to get fitness for Vedanta, the fourfold qualifications, Viveka, Vairagya, the six treasures, Mumukshutvam, I want to develop that, then Karma Yoga is highly recommended for those who seek enlightenment. So first Karma Yoga, purification of mind, then there is the Jnana Yoga, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. This again Shankaracharya has no objection to. What he calls Krama Samuchchaya, combination in sequence. Karma Yoga, and then it becomes Jnana Yoga. That is possible also for Shankar. Not only possible, Shankaracharya actually highly recommends it. First, one should practice Karma Yoga, get sufficient purity of mind, continue your Vedantic Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana at the same time. That's what most of us are doing actually. And he is perfectly fine with that. But this karma which you are doing, do it as Karma Yoga. Do it as worship of God. Whatever karma you have to do in your household, in your professional career, in your personal life, all of us have to do. That again, Shankaracharya has no objection. So the division is not as sharp as one would expect. Combination in sequence is accepted, but combination sahasamuchchaya, combination together is not accepted. And why not? Even together also is possible. In reality, Shankaracharya knows he is Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. In the world of appearance, he is this monk, great teacher, dynamic, very active. No logical contradiction there for him. Where would be the logical contradiction according to Shankaracharya? if you take the view of jnana and the view of karma and try to combine them, the jnana view is I am Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss. Nothing else exists. And the view of karma is I am a human being. I am this body and mind. Here is the world, and here are the things that I have to do to get that result. So the doer of action, by the means of action, the result of action, the world, the body, mind, all these are the reality. No Brahman anywhere in sight. These two cannot be combined together. But I am Brahman, and all action is also Brahman then. That entirely can be done. And that is the meaning of the Gita shloka. In Gita we say Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi, Brahma Agno Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. See what it means. This is where jnana and karma come together. And it is, according to Shankara, it is all jnana, it's not karma. What does it mean? The ritualistic action which is being performed, the Agnihotra itself, the fire is Brahman, the spoon with which you give offerings, that is Brahman. The offerings themselves are Brahman. The priest whose offering is Brahman. The fire into which you are offering is Brahman. The action, the one who sees all action as Brahman will realize Brahman. So isn't this combination of action and knowledge? No. According to Shankaracharya, it is knowledge alone. But if you want to call it combination of action and knowledge, fine. In that sense, it's okay. Externally action, but in reality, it is knowledge. Because you are seeing everything as Brahman. So what I want to emphasize here is Shankaracharya is not against action per se. In fact, action as a purifying discipline is accepted and highly recommended by Shankaracharya. And if you can see you can see Brahman in all action, fine, go ahead. For him, that's not even action. Shankaracharya says, natat karma. It's not karma, it is jnana. So what we might call action, Shankaracharya will call knowledge. So it's a much more deeper, more profound topic than it might appear on the surface. Now, we are starting Vedanta. Ataidanim avidvat nindartho ayam mantra arabhyate. It starts with mantra number 3, where ignorance is criticized. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasa britaha tagamste pretyabhigachanti yeke chatmahano janaha. These are the worlds of demons which are covered by blinding darkness. Those people that kill the self go to them after giving up this body. So it first starts with a criticism of ignorance. After all, one might ask, this world is real. I am here. This is reality. And there are things to be done in this world. And if you advise me to live a moral life and to do these rituals which might take me to heaven afterwards, these things I can understand. But what is all this Atman, Brahman, Moksha? Why do these things? So what is the problem in, you're saying this is all ignorance. Okay, let it be ignorance. It does not seem to be ignorance to me. This world seems to be real. I seem to be quite knowledgeable. So let me remain like this. What is the harm? He starts with the harm. He makes a case for spirituality, for non-dual knowledge. What is the harm in remaining like this? He says they go to the worlds of demons, enveloped in blinding darkness. They are suicide. It is tantamount to committing suicide. Ignorance is equal to suicide. How? So Shankaracharya explains. What does he mean demons? Asura, demon, Rakshasa, demons or devils. Shankaracharya explains, Asurya paramatma bhavam advayam apekshya devadayo api asuraha. He says, compared to non-dual realization, aham brahmasmi, every kind of existence, human existence, even the existence of gods in heavens, devatas, is equal to asura, the existence of a devil or a demon. Literally the word asusuramate, those who are completely enveloped in sense pleasure. Those whose entire focus and delight is in sense pleasure. They are called asura. Asu means the sense organs. Those who revel in sense pleasure, that is called asura. And he says, if you do not have enlightenment, any kind of existence, human existence, you're a devil. A devilish existence, you're a devil. You're a cute dog, you're a devil. You're a god in heaven, you're a devil. Shankaracharya says, every existence which is in ignorance is a devilish or demonical existence. And the world, that kind of existence is called Asurya Loka, the demonic existence. Loka normally means world, but here Shankaracharya gives a deeper explanation. Loka is equal to karma phalani, lokyante, drishyante, bhujyante iti janmani. Our results of our past actions, that which gives us the experience of the results of our past actions, good and bad, that is called a loka. Literally, the word loka means, he says, drishyante, to see or experience, bhujyante, to enjoy and suffer. What? The results of our past actions. How do we do that? Janma, birth. Or more specific, another meaning is this body which is born. The lokas are the births in these worlds, or specifically these bodies. What do the bodies do? They bring us in contact with the results of our past karma. All our good karma, all our sinful karma, it all comes as the blows coming to us from the world. Something pleasurable and nice, many things unpleasant and not nice. So these experiences are called loka, and these through these bodies. Andhena, atmakena, ajnanena, tamasa, vrita, achadita. And these worlds, these bodies, these lives, he says, Upanishad says, they're covered in darkness, blinding darkness. What is that darkness? Just like in darkness we cannot see, similarly, ignorance. The ignorance is like the darkness, because as in darkness we cannot see, in ignorance also we don't see the truth. One Mahatma said, Dhoka hai sab Mahatma ji, it's a world of delusion. We will keep running again and again, hoping to get some kind of lasting, deep fulfillment. It all disappears. Even good experiences, that's the interesting thing. Suppose your life has been good, things have gone well enough. Well, they've gone. It's all over now. The people have grown up and gone away, or they have become old and died. Those enjoyments have faded away, memories are fading away, the world we lived in has changed, a new world has taken place. World is samsara is going on, it's continuously flowing. So what was the point of it all? Well, I get some satisfaction. Even the satisfaction is diminishing and fading away. It becomes memory. Memory also fades away. Even the best of lives ends like this, let alone all kind of suffering which is there for most people. तान् स्थावरान्तान् प्रेत्य त्यक्त्वा imam deham abhigachanti yatha karma yatha shrutam. And giving up this body after death, the terrible condition, the terrible result is they go to other bodies according to their past karma, down to even plants, even a blade of grass, up to that kind of body. Yes, God's best body in heavens, godly births, human births, pleasant human births, unpleasant human births, worse, animal births, plant, even like down to a blade of grass. All these, it's possible to go down to that level. Yatha karma, yatha shrutam, as is our past karma and also our Vedic rituals, the religious rituals and worldly work, whatever we have done. Actually, here it means the rituals and upasanas. Upasanas means meditations. In Vedas, you have two parts: karma kanda, upasana kanda. Whatever karma you have done, whatever upasana you have done, as a result of that, or if not done, as a result of that, these bodies are attained. Of course, mainly due to our worldly actions, good and bad. Atmanam granti iti atmahanaha, they are the killers of the self. Suicide. Ignorant, dying in ignorance is called suicide. Why? Kete janaha. Who are these suicidal people? Avidvansaha, the ignorant ones, Shankaracharya says. Those who have not realized that they are the self. Katante atmanam nityam himsati. How can they kill the self? Because Atman is eternal. So aren't you saying, I am Satchidanand, I am Brahman? How can you kill Brahman? And he says, avidya doshena vidyamanasya atmana tiraskarana. Vidyamanasya atmano Yat karyam phalam ajara amaratvadi samvedana lakshanam tad hatasyeva tirobhutam bhavati iti. He says, even though the Atman is there, yes, you are Brahman, but it's not obvious. You don't experience it. He says, just as in the case of a dead person, the consciousness, that person is still there. Consciousness is there, Atman is there, but that's not obvious. You can't see. That's why you say a person is dead. There is no sign of life. There is no sign of consciousness. It's disappeared as if. Similarly, in the case of the ignorant ones, that their nature is Brahman or Atman, it is not at all obvious to them. And worse, the effect of that, the benefit of realizing I am Brahman is that Ajara, Amara, I am unborn, I will not die, I am immortal, I am limitless, I am Purnam, I am full, I do not want any, all these tremendous benefits, the great peace and joy and freedom of realizing that I am Brahman, all those disappear. Just like in a dead person, consciousness seems to have disappeared. Similarly, although I am Brahman, I am the Atman, but all the benefits of that, I am deprived of it. It's just gone as if it is not there. This is equal to killing oneself. Prakrita avidvanso jana atmana uchyate. So the ignorant person who does not realize I am Brahman, is called a suicide. Tena hi atma hanana doshena samsarantite. Because of this sin of suicide. Suicide means ignorance, not knowing that I am the self. Samsarantite. They are whirled around in samsara. From birth to birth they go. Mrityu sa mrityu mapnoti ya iha naneva pashyati. The one who sees difference here, who does not see the one non-dual divinity, the one who sees difference here, they go from death to death. Mrityu sa mrityu mapnoti. This is the terrible condition of the ignorant ones. This is the problem with ignorance. This we see in the Upanishads. Ken Upanishad, which we did, there it is said, Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. And he says, Ihached avedit atham satyamasti nached iha vedit mahati vinashti. In this very life, if you realize this, then there is truth for you, reality for you, immortality for you. If you do not realize this, nached iha vedit, if one does not realize it in this life, mahati vinashti, great is the loss, enormous is the loss. And that loss is being here further criticized in this Upanishad as equal to suicide. After all, physical suicide is what suicide? It's not as terrible as this. Physical suicide, you can't wipe yourself out. You'll get another body in a worse condition. Whereas this suicide, it is equal to endless births and deaths going on and on and on. All right, we'll stop here. From next, the teaching about the Atman will start, about our real nature, from the next mantra. Let me do the peace chant and then we'll look at a few questions and observations. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Now let's see. Sanket says a mathematical axiom. Yes, infinity, as infinity is equal to infinity, or 0 minus 0 is equal to Purnam. Yes. Anu says, was bhakti different in Upanishadic times versus Puranic times? Yes, it was different. You can see the evolution of bhakti teachings in Hinduism. Janhavi says, will it be a stretch to find resonance between the first three verses, Changde, Parshasti and the Shanti mantra? Gyaneshwar expresses differently, but what he seems to say, Brahman is hiding when appearing as the world, and Brahman revealed when the world fades away, is in reality unchanged, absolute. Correct. There, Gyaneshwar Maharaj says that when Brahman hides, the world is revealed, and when Brahman reveals himself, the world disappears. Basically meaning that it is, there he says Shiva. So it is Shiva alone who is this world. When Shiva is unknown, we say it's the world. When Shiva is known, we say the world is Shiva. Anu, why do some people not desire moksha? Is it because they lack viveka? Yes, that's what Shankaracharya pointed out. He says, Naramatra abhimanini iti. They consider this body-mind complex to be that's all they're identified with. And Shankaracharya also uses another phrase, anatma gyataya. Their whole focus, their knowledge, their concerns are with the not self. So basically, underlying all this, of course, ignorance, but not just ignorance. On the basis of ignorance comes desire, a great attachment, um, uh, a fixation on pleasure, on worldly accumulation, enjoying through the senses, deep attachment to the body. Because of this, one may not have any inclination of moksha. Even when one is told, one may not be inclined to enjoy it. So often through suffering, then viveka arises. This is not working out for me, living like this. And what spirituality tells me, whether it is bhakti, whether it is yoga, whether it is knowledge, jnana, something will appeal then. Peter says, by realizing who one truly is their true nature, existence, consciousness, Brahman, they end the cycle of birth and death. Where does one's past actions, karma, come in? Is karma for those who still believe that they are the physical body and therefore will again go through the cycle of birth and death? Yes. The idea of karma is as long as we think we are the doer, you're the doer of action, and doer means obviously I'm attached to one mind and one body, and I am this one jiva, not just one body, through lifetimes, many bodies, but I am this one jiva. So I have done many actions and I continue to do these actions. Therefore, the results of actions also will come to me. But when one realizes one is Brahman, Mundaka Upanishad we read, if you remember, what happens then? What happens to actions? Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshaya kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. When one realizes Brahman, para, that absolute, avara, this absolute, this infinite, that infinite, that infinite, see, this infinite, same idea. Then what will happen? Vidyate hridaya granthi. The knot of ignorance which ties you, the pure consciousness, to this body mind, that will be cut. I am no longer, I realize this appears, but I am not this. Then chidyante sarva samshaya, all doubts will disappear. Before that, even reading, one may doubt all this. Is it real? Is it theoretical? Is it possible? But then there's no more doubt. It's just obvious. It's the most obvious thing of all. Then what will happen to our karma? Shiyante chasya karmani. All of these karmas are destroyed. They are falsified and you realize that they never existed. But anyway, they say the fire of enlightenment burns up all karmas. Ramya says, does Shankara not also hold that karma leads to chitta shuddhi, which leads to jnana if performed right? Correct. That's why. Why then does he have a strict categorization between mantras 1 and 2? As I explained, there are many subtleties to this, but I hope I was able to bring out the psychological contradiction of thinking I am Brahman and thinking I am the body mind. I am the witness of all karmas. All karmas are also Brahman. Then it's perfectly all right. But karmas are not Brahman. There's no Brahman is nowhere on the scene. I am this body mind. Here is this world. Here is this wealth which I want, this relationship which I want, and that is my goal. And these are the karmas I will do to get those. Then that kind of psychological makeup and this psychological makeup, they are contradictory. I am Brahman, I am body mind, are not compatible. I am really Brahman, appearing to be this body mind, they are compatible. Jennifer. But yes, karma yoga will lead to chitta shuddhi, will lead to freedom. As I explained, Shankaracharya is fully on board with krama samucchay. If you feel that you are this body mind and you need to purify yourself, get ready for the enlightenment, jnana yoga, then instead of doing the karma for worldly goals, do it as a worship of God. Do it as a way of purifying the mind. That Shankaracharya fully supports. In fact, he recommends it strongly. Jennifer, doesn't the Yoga Vachishta begin with a verse telling that jnana and karma are the two wings of the same bird? This is a different kind of definition of karma, selfless action rather than ritual action. How would Shankara respond to this? I hope I have covered I will throw some light on this. In what sense Shankaracharya sees that karma and jnana are contradictory, metaphysically contradictory, psychologically contradictory, but not physically. Ramya says, per Adi Shankaracharya, action and knowledge are two separate paths. Here he means not karma yoga. Is that right interpretation? Yes. He means karma yoga if you can combine it. What cannot be combined is sakama karma and jnana yoga. I want worldly stuff and I'm engaging in worldly stuff, and at the same time I'm trying to realize I am Brahman. Won't work. One must turn away from this towards that. Otherwise, my worldly pursuits will become the reality for me, and my jnana yoga at most can become a curiosity, an intellectual pursuit, but not very serious about it. John Lewis says, in the Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna to be without the three gunas and then perform action. Freed from duality, pure, independent of possessions, possessed of self, then action will be free of karmic effects. It seems one must be Jivan Mukta to act in the world, so karma may not cling to him. Correct. That's why this verse, this mantra, perform actions in this way, seek to live 100 years performing action in this way. In this way, karma will not cling to you. You can actually interpret it as smoothly flowing from the first mantra itself, becoming enlightened and living as a Jivan Mukta, performing all kinds of actions, and then you will not be touched by karma. This is literally the meaning of the second mantra. Notice, whereas Shankaracharya, the meaning which he gives, he has to annotate, he has to point out, will be free from the effect of karma means will be free from the effect of bad karma. You will replace the iron chain with the golden chain. That's what Shankaracharya is saying. But a Jivan Mukta is free of both chains and still is acting, but will not be touched by karma. Sonali says, why didn't Shankaracharya combine the first two mantras and say that the first discover Brahman as our true nature, then live for 100 years performing any karma as Brahma karma samadhina and be free of all karma? True, that could have been done. But then you'll see, that's why this Upanishad is complicated. You'll see, you'll run into serious problems when you come from the ninth mantra onwards. So Shankaracharya, he is preparing us. He's saying there are these two parts actually. So yes, you can realize you are Brahman and then live for 100 years, perform all kinds of actions externally, knowing you are Brahman anyway. That's possible, and you'll be free of all the effects of karma. But then ninth mantra onwards, many things will be said which refer to Vedic ritualism and Vedic upasana and attainment of higher heavens after death. So how will you tag that with jnana, which is freedom from birth and death? Kiran says, action with the knowledge that I am not the doer is recommended. Action with the knowledge that I am not the doer, that is possible only for the Jivan Mukta. And for the rest of us, Karma Yoga. Those who want to be Jivan Mukta, we can't stop action, so convert our action into Karma Yoga. That will purify the mind. Priya, so who else? In the Kishore says, in the second mantra, the devotee doing prescribed work for better life in his expert is not inconsistent with the last line, na karma lipyate nari. Yes, if you see Shankaracharya's explanation there, if he is not affected by karma, but you will say that he is affected by karma. In fact, he is doing good karma so that he will get the good results of that karma and get a body and a better next life and go to heaven. True. But Shankaracharya explains they are not affected by karma means not affected by sinful karma, because he will not do sinful karma. He will not be bound by sinful karma. Unless you live like this in the life of Vedic ritualism and ethical life in our day-to-day life, one will inevitably fall into some kind of sinful life, propelled by our own desires and instincts and senses.